Animal trade now on BBC Two, with scenes of the lives and deaths of animals which some viewers may find upsetting, the reality behind the super rich's insatiable appetite for luxury.
Billionaires now control more of the world's wealth than ever before.
This is £3,000.
And they are scouring the globe for the latest must-have luxury goods.
You've got stingray, you've got lizard on the tongue, you've got elephant on the side.
And top of the list are animals.
The Russian saber. High quality, expensive, and beautiful.
Crocodile skins are just like diamonds and they're extremely precious.
Brands are literally going to the ends of the earth to find them.
I can see the trail where she's been. Look at that. What am I doing?
But how much do we really know about where this stuff comes from?
Just caught it with his bare hands. Look at that. Why do you have a lynx here?
And what's the real cost of luxury fashion?
The scale of this is just jaw-dropping.
I have literally come to the other side of the planet to find out the truth behind fashion and the animal trade.
The international fashion industry is huge and worth £26 billion to UK PLC alone. Trends and styles come and go, and this year it's all about fur. But fur is still controversial, and this is what the anti-fur protest looks like at London Fashion Week.
It is a symbol of wealth, to be sure. You've always had that nouveau riche customer who just doesn't care what it is as long as it's expensive.
When I was growing up, fur was seen as taboo. It was something that people were throwing red paint on.
After the crash of 2007, there's been a whole new generation of super rich, what we talk about as the 1%. And they have never had this indoctrination against wearing fur, and they have the money to buy it.
And if there's one group that brought fur back into fashion, it's these guys. Some rappers have included fur in their own exclusive fashion lines. Kanye West even had a fur backpack at a cool $6,000.
And then you have the Chinese. And the Chinese are an enormous market. All of this is about China. 80% of fashion purchases today are by Chinese.
That's incredible.
It's a completely virgin market for everything in luxury, including fur.
The fur market is now worth $40 billion worldwide. That's an increase of 70% in the last 10 years. Lots of people think it's okay to wear fur again. But how much do we really know about where it comes from? I've come to Russia, home to some of the world's most expensive fur. It's never really gone out of fashion here.
What is it?
It's it. I'm here to meet a man who's described as a legend in the industry.
Well, it ain't warm.
Igor Gudiev.
Hello. Igor.
Nice to meet you.
Reggie, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Igor has designed luxury coats for some of the world's most famous faces.
I've never been to a fur boutique before. So what sort of furs do we have? For instance, what's this?
Lynx.
Lynx. Wow, okay. Look at this. Boom.
It's raccoon. It's a coyote.
Okay.
What is it? It's a raccoon? No.
Is this mink?
Mink.
Okay, what? Oh, goodness.
Wow. Wow.
It's soft, isn't it?
You have to go to Oscar.
Look at this. I feel regal. It's funny, isn't it? Like, I don't actually own any fur, but the minute you get it on, you suddenly feel expensive.
Всегда.
Oh man, look at this.
Ah,
What is this? What am I wearing?
fox.
This is fox.
Yeah, step fox.
And how many animals have gone into making this particular coat?
10.
About 10.
Don't think about animals. Think about the beauty.
I guess that's what it comes down to, right? Do you think most people don't consider the animal when they buy a fur? They're just thinking about the beauty of the feeling. Why is that?
When you go to the supermarket, you think about the animal.
Not really, no.
Huh? When you buy meat, when you buy when you buy sausages, you think about the animal.
No.
It's the same.
I thought mink was the most expensive fur, but for the global super rich, there's something even more exclusive.
Wait, what fur is this?
Russian sable.
This is Russian sable.
Last year, a fur coat by Fendi, made from wild-caught sable, sold for over €1 million. This is the stuff that sends the super rich crazy.
Don't ask me the price, okay?
Why is it so expensive?
Because it's Russian sable.
What is so special about Russian sable?
Why? When you go to jewelry boutique, you ask why diamonds expensive.
So this is the diamond of your store then?
It's not only my store in Russia.
Right.
The world. High quality, expensive, and beautiful.
Siberia. More than 60 times the size of Britain. This place is big. It can drop to -40 here in the winter, so I can see why they might want to wear fur. Siberia is home of the legendary Russian sable. But before I find the sable, I need to find the hunter.
Of course he drives a Lada. Hello, are you Vadim? Hello, Vadim? Wrong house. Pretty sure the last person expected to open the door to was a black guy and a camera crew. Vadim, Reggie, nice to meet you. How you doing? You're actually wearing sandals in the snow. Perfect. He's already way more of a man than I am.
2 days ago, Vadim set his traps. Now we're heading out to check them for sable.
Well, looks like my transport's sorted. On the back of that.
The journey takes us across a massive frozen lake, Lake Baikal.
This is the first.
This is the deepest lake in the world, containing 1/5 of all of the planet's fresh water. We just stopped because the drivers are having a cup or two of vodka, and this is unlike anything I've ever seen before. This is solid ice, and if you look through it, it's perfectly clear. You can see the bed right there and all the rocks. It's incredible. It's a grueling 2-hour journey to the first trap.
This looks a lot more fun than it feels. Oh. This is the moment when we venture out into the unknown to try and check those traps and see what we can find.
It's a tough life being a fur trapper. If Vadim doesn't catch a sable, then his family doesn't eat. Vadim uses spring-loaded traps especially designed not to damage the fur. You can't even see the trap itself. He's put like a piece of paper over it and recovered the whole area with snow, so there's no way of knowing there's anything in there. So in theory, this is the perfect setup to get a sable. Alright, so the trap's empty. I take it we're going to go on and see if we can find any others. But why exactly do you have a gun on your back?
Ну вот бывает, шатуны ходят, или волк нападет, и что я сделаю с ним? У меня просто читки не будет. А тут я отстреляюсь от него.
Good. Do you want to lead the way, Mr. Gunman?
All right.
This just gets better and better, doesn't it? What do we think, madam?
Хороший кот, но второй цвет, 1006 будет. Сибирская валюта.
So this is what everybody's searching for. The sable is a small carnivore related to the ferret. Once trapped, it freezes to death in a couple of hours.
I mean, I'm wearing gloves, but I can feel just how beautiful this fur is. I don't know, it's quite hard to get my head around that this is worth so much, and as well as that, this will become something that will be coveted and loved somewhere halfway around the world. Well, Vanham's definitely pleased. He's having a celebratory cigarette over there. He's enjoying himself. Vadim, what quality is this skin? Just how valuable is this?
Этот цвет второй. Цена где-то у него будет стоить 6-7 тысяч кот, потому что большой. Сейчас его обдеру, оттает. Постираю его, посмотрю, дефекты есть, нету. Дефектов не будет, 6-7 тысяч, 100%.
Less than $100 doesn't really seem like a lot of money when you think how much a sable coat will eventually sell for.
Is your wife going to be happy that we're returning home with something?
Ну, каждый доволен, супруга, как будто копейка же домой, дома.
With just an hour of light left, it's definitely time to get out of the cold.
It's not looking too great. The skidoo in front of me has just crashed. I think it smashed its lights as well. Come to Siberia, they said. There'll be adventure, they said. Work out more like.
After a long day, we finally reach Vadim's hunting cabin. This is where we sleep.
It's one of those moments where you realise how much of a man you aren't. I'd love to help, but I'm probably only going to slow him down. Maybe I can do some carrying, that would be good. Shall I help carry? You take some inside? Yeah?
The sable is left to gently thaw overnight.
И самый главный процесс отбивки соболя.
Okay, so what's the nail in the string for?
Ну как я его одну рукой держу? Ювелирная работа.
I've actually owned one coat with a fur collar before. I, at no point, really sort of considered where that little bit of fur had come from. A lot of people in the West will probably be shocked by watching this footage and watching this process. Do you think it's ridiculous that people are surprised or shocked by what it is you're doing?
Запад там, Сибирь наша. Мы уже как бы привыкли к этому. Он больше никаким телом не попадется. Только лапы, это без разницы, задней, передней ногой.
That's the last bit now, it's the head just coming off.
Сибирский тигр.
So this is it. This is the world famous sable skin. This is what people all over the world are paying top dollar for now. When you just sort of focus on this, the fur, it's pretty spectacular. But the minute you pull out and sort of take into account the process and what Vadim's just thrown out the door, which is actually the carcass, it's a very surreal 25 minutes of my life.
So how does a fur pelt that Vadim sells for $80 end up as part of a coat costing €1 million. I'm back in St. Petersburg with fur fashion designer Igor. He's brought me to the annual fur auction. This is where people start making big money.
And is it always this international? Because there's people from the UK, there's people from China, there's
Italian, Greek.
So I've been coming here since I'm 18.
Right.
Born and bred in Brixton.
What is so special about Rush to Sable then?
Very, very special article.
Yeah?
It's wonderful.
Yeah?
It's wonderful. They've got an offering here of 260,000 skins, and it's 100% sold.
Nearly $20 million will be spent on sable at this auction alone.
It seems that some of the biggest brands are literally fighting each other to get the best furs. And it's getting quite ratty.
This is the only auction in the world where you can buy wild sable.
He dropped! He dropped!
With the argument raging, I decide to go backstage and see what all the fuss is about.
The scale of this is just jaw-dropping. I've never seen anything like this before. It just sort of brings it home, the size of this industry. You know, people are buying a lot of these animals because it takes 40 of these to make one coat. But that from over there, with around 250,000 of them, it is just unbelievable.
The sable at the auction are mostly trapped in the wild. But there's another side to the Russian fur industry. This is a fur farm on the outskirts of Siberia's second biggest city, Irkutsk.
Good morning. Reggie, nice to meet you. You Victor? Victor. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
The farm's manager and his outstanding sable hat have agreed to show me around.
What am I walking into here? This is huge.
Over 80% of the world's fur is produced in farms.
Ну вот по вот этой стороне у нас соболиная ферма.
Wow. There's so many of them. And they're jumping all over the place. They're cartwheeling, they're flipping, they're bouncing about the cages. They don't look that happy to me.
These animals seem desperate to escape.
Is there a reason for them to behave like this?
Ну, у животных как зооплет, хоть это и клеточный соболь, но у него в природе его заложено, он много двигается в природе.
Are these cages big enough for that?
Да, по размеру это они соответствуют их нормальному, как говорится, движению, чтобы им было уютно и достаточно для них площади.
Unlike some other animals, captive breeding of sable is difficult, but the possible rewards mean Victor is persevering.
This place is huge. It's so big. He's driving me to the other end because it's too far to in this weather.
Sable is just one part of this huge operation.
So what do we have in these cages outside?
Это у нас естественно.
Now these guys are almost 3 times the size of the sable, but the cages are the same size. Is there a reason for that?
Они больше. Это внешне кажется, что они меньше, но на самом деле они больше.
And they seem to be moving the same way as the sable. Why is that?
Нет, это только реакция. А так вообще они очень пассивные. Они лежат комочком, сворачиваются и лежат на всех.
These animals are clearly in a state of distress.
In your opinion, do you think the consumer cares where the fur comes from?
Он оценивает просто качество изделия, он внешний вид и так далее, красоту вот этого меха.
The main fur being produced here is mink. They're related to sable, but they're much easier to breed, and they've been farmed for generations around the world.
Is this mink? That one?
Да, это все, вот все вот эти вот шеды, это все норка.
So this shed and all the sheds before it are absolutely huge. They go on forever.
The farm produces around 70,000 pelts a year. They'll get €15 for each one. There are around 70 fur farms in Russia. And this isn't even one of the biggest.
И не очень, не мелкая, и не очень крупная. Есть фермы, которые имеют в 2-3 раза больше поголовья, чем у нас. Клеточную же норку, норки, производят 2 миллиона шкурок в год.
2 million. But Victor has one more surprise for me.
What's this?
Это рысь. Рысь.
Why do you have a lynx here?
Просили подержать некоторое время. Потому что у них нет условий для содержания.
I remembered seeing a lynx coat back in Igor's boutique. He told me not to think about the animal, just the beauty of the fur.
To see one in those conditions is, well, it's heartbreaking. It's in a tiny cage, no bigger than this, and it's just going up and down with crazy eyes, and it's trampling over its own waist. It just really doesn't sit well with me at all. My understanding of fur has always been one thing, and that is, you see a fur coat, you imagine that it's come from some hunter in the wild, a pack of guys going out with guns and returning with animals over their shoulder. That's the way that I've always understood the process to work. But we're talking millions of furs coming from farms. That means that millions of animals are in cages. That means that millions of animals are being raised to be skinned to make a coat. I don't know, it's just really unsettling that these animals are being kept in conditions where they're quite clearly distressed for their entire life. I'm not saying that I'm going to go and join animal rights when I leave here, but I definitely am feeling a shift in my attitude towards fur. Definitely.
The sheer scale of fur farming makes me think that the demand for fur has gone way beyond the super rich. Back in London, I'm starting to see fur everywhere.
It's quite hard to ignore the fact that so many people have some sort of fur on their coat or on their person some way, be that real or faux.
It's everywhere. I just watch people walking by and they have fur trim on their hoods, their gloves. Even after all the animal rights activists, it's still seen as appealing and pretty.
So how do the tastes of the super rich spread to us mere mortals?
You have the high-end, the luxury fashion that sets the trends, and then it trickles down to fast fashion, high street shops. Fendi and other companies have put out these little pom-poms, just clip them onto your coat or your bag or whatever. It's an entry-level product.
But even these entry-level products go for around £300. The real trick has been getting younger people to want to buy fur.
Younger consumers are definitely less stigmatized or wary of buying and wearing fur. The fur companies are sponsoring competitions at schools and providing the fur to teach the students how to use it. 10 years ago, 50 or 60 designers used fur in their collections. Today it's about 400 to 500.
Is that fur or is it real?
It's fur.
Would you ever wear real fur?
Yeah, no, I have no problem with wearing real fur.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 23. I think that you just kind of get to a stage where people are like, oh well, we're going to start wearing it again.
Yeah.
They just want to be fashionable, and if that's the look of the moment, that's what it is. And that's why these designers have such great power, because that look permeates our entire culture.
This high street revival means that the industry has to source more and more fur at rock bottom prices. A lot of it is produced in even worse conditions than what I saw in Russia. China is the world's biggest supplier of cheap fur. It's often so cheap, it costs less than the fake stuff. But fur is only part of the story. London is now at the heart of the global network of designers who see animal products as the key to unlocking the super rich's wallet. And there's one man who knows better than most how to do it.
Ethan.
Hi, good
Hello.
afternoon. How
Reg.
are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you, really good. Thank you for having me.
I'm entering the magical world of Ethan Coe, a Singaporean designer of bespoke handcrafted luxury handbags.
Crocodile skins are just like diamonds and they're extremely precious. The attention to detail is paramount. You know, every bag has a special feature. So this is an interesting trapdoor. We even had a customer who recently did a count of my pieces and she came up with 62. This is £3,000 and obviously it ranged up to £25,000. The Australian saltwater crocodile is one of the most expensive, like this one here, because the scales on the side are very small and round, just like diamonds. And especially for a woman's handbag, to use a skin like this, it makes the bag shine even better, and the effect is beautiful.
Ethan's bags are sold in some of the most exclusive stores in the world, but a select few customers get a bag designed personally for them.
So what is it that qualifies a client to sit with you and design a bag face to face?
Of course, we never recommend the bespoke service to someone that has never appreciated or acquired any of our basic pieces in the collection.
Okay, well if that's the case,
Yeah.
come on, be honest.
Yeah.
How many bags have I got to buy to get him you?
I really feel like you should have around 3 of this work bag.
3 bags? You got to buy 3 bags before you get in here?
Yeah, and I think that maybe you should get like 2 colors of each, right? And then you will know our service better. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely, my bank will definitely know more about the brand, that's for sure.
And then we will have a bag maybe named after you. Right?
The saltwater crocodile is one of the world's greatest predators. I've come to its home in northern Australia, and this is the farm where they are bred. Here, they raise, kill, and skin thousands of crocs every year. Charlie is one of the croc handlers.
Okay, Reggie. Now, our male is in that back pond.
Yeah.
So the best place for us... after you. No, I'll go first.
What? You're seriously going in there?
I'm seriously going in there.
Today, Charlie and his team are trying to catch one of their big males, called Eric.
And then our challenge is to get that rope over his top jaw. So, when you're ready, boys. And of course, the death roll. And as long as
I was
Ken,
about to sprint there, Charlie.
as long as Ken doesn't let go of the rope, we're
Yeah.
fine.
Don't let go of the rope. So if I came into contact with this guy in the wild, what do you think would happen to me?
You're swimming in any river or billabong in the top end, and you came across him, and he grabbed you, you would have a 0% chance of survival.
Today's a big day for Eric. As a prize breeder, he's about to be introduced to a new female.
1, 2, 3.
But before he's introduced to his new mate, his jaws have been taped up so he doesn't eat her. It's the croc version of safe sex.
Just use your pole.
He's poking it with a stick. What's going on?
Go. Ready, go.
Eric was born in the wild. He was brought here after being suspected of killing 2 people.
The only thing that's stopping it from running at me and everyone else is a bit of old sack covering its eyes.
Eric is too old and too scarred for his skin to be used as a handbag, but he's great for breeding. But they do need to tape his mouth up to stop him killing the female that we put in the enclosure.
So he, can't actually bite her head off. Right. Literally.
Yeah. God help that female. They're going to be living together for the next few weeks.
But most baby crocs still come from eggs collected in the wild, and Charlie is taking me with him.
This is what's going to protect me, just in case a croc attacks. What happened to something sharp?
Minutes of it, crocs are going to get some crocodile eggs. Fingers crossed I don't run into mama crocodile.
40 years ago, crocs were hunted in the wild for their skins, so much so they nearly became extinct.
This is unreal. Look at it.
Since then, strict controls on hunting have meant that croc farms have taken over supplying skins to the fashion industry. The wild population is now back to full strength.
We're just going to have a quick look out here, this new area.
Landowners protect the croc's habitat because they make money from each egg that is collected. There are nests everywhere.
Okay, here's one, a new one. There's like a mound of vegetation. Female rakes up this vegetation into a mound and she lays the eggs inside it. And what we want to do is I'm going to drop some tape on this so that when we're on the ground we can actually locate it.
Charlie and the farm are protecting the wild croc population by finding and buying the eggs.
We're going to be very, very careful. Strike while the iron is hot, Reggie.
Maybe not the best start.
And suddenly we're alone. Now get this straight. The helicopter's gone, and it's just you, me, these paddles, a nest with about 50 odd eggs in it, and the mother of those eggs somewhere near here.
Yes. In a word, yes. She's here somewhere. She'll always stay near her nest, either at it or in the vicinity. And I think you might have seen a little trail that goes into that nest that we just tagged.
Yeah.
And that's her.
I can see the trail where she's been. Look at that. Right, can you see it? Right there.
We're going to avoid that little
Yes, we are.
trail.
We're definitely going to avoid that trail.
Look, 4 and 5 metre sized crocodile can hide in about half a metre of water. So we just got to be careful. Can't find this in England.
No. This is all I've got to defend myself. What am I doing? 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 What am I doing here? What am I doing? What am I doing?
The other members of the crew arrive, and I'm beginning to feel slightly more reassured. One of the team is Giovanna, a croc scientist who's also co-owner of the farm.
So, a couple of months ago, I was asked to get involved with a program about fashion. This is true fashion, darling.
It's fashion that's actually conserving crocodiles.
Do you really believe that?
I do firmly believe it.
Yeah? Do you see yourself intrinsically connected to fashion then?
Absolutely. It's only because the demand, because the people want to display these beautiful items, then the crocodiles are protected.
It's a real sort of strange place to have a realisation, but it appears that if people don't buy the handbags, technically the crocs die out.
The challenge is how do we make sure that trade is good, that it's managed, sustainable, and doesn't lead to the decline of the species. That's a challenge for us as researchers and managers, and I think we've done it here in Australia, certainly, because we've got more than enough crocodiles.
Right?
There's a track leading up to the nest as well, so we need to be careful, because that means that Mama Croc has been here recently.
You can see where she's been laying, so you get that groove
Right.
across the top, the tail, where she's laid across the nest. What we've got to watch out for is sort of water over here. But we want to keep an eye on that, just in case she's around and she decides she's going to come up.
Here, you see? Put it just here.
She's just trying to freak me out. Why are you poking it? If she's there, what are you doing? Stop poking it, you crazy person.
You're on guard. Aha.
We got eggs?
We have eggs. Here we go. Beautiful.
That's full of eggs. Look at it.
Every time I come to the swamp and I find a new nest, it's like giving birth. Over and over again.
50 times in one.
That's it. This is the highlight of my job.
Yeah.
Really.
I can't help but notice the amount of eggs that are actually coming out of the nest. By taking that many eggs from the wild, does it deplete the population?
Not in the slightest. And in fact, because our crocodile populations are now so big, they're back to pristine levels, even if we allowed all these to hatch, they would die. Because the bigger crocodiles are going to kill them. So this is really what's driving conservation now, is the ability to have these eggs, sell them. Yeah, they're dangerous animals. And the best way to really conserve a big, dangerous predator like saltwater crocodiles, to make them economically valuable in some way.
With Mama Crocodile due back any minute, I think we've overstayed our welcome.
Okay, that's our chopper.
Is that time to go?
Back at the farm, the eggs will be put into incubators. They're kept at a specific temperature so they'll develop into males.
Look at this.
It's feeding time. These little guys will one day end up as bags.
You can see here we have black plastic, and it's because one scratch, one mark on the belly of the skin, we're done.
Some of these big brands not take the skin if it's got a scratch on it.
Brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Prada, they sell the most beautiful handbags, but at the same time, they have to be first-grade quality.
They only breed males because they grow much faster. They're killed when they're 4 years old. That's when their belly skin is wide enough. It takes 2 animals to make one handbag. The farm gets about $1,000 per crop. Many crocodile farms around the world have poor animal welfare standards and an unsustainable approach to how many they take from the wild. But from what I've seen in Australia, farming allows large numbers of crocs to live out their lives in their natural habitat.
Okay, so we're heading into the incubator.
Okay.
We have about 1,100 eggs at the moment.
1,100.
We're just in time for the first hatchlings of the season.
So typically, what are the crocs like the minute they get out of those eggs? Are they...
You will find out.
Right, well, they're definitely inquisitive. Are they aggressive at all?
Yes. As soon as they hatch, straight away they latch to your finger. They have very sharp little teeth.
Right.
So we're going just to help him, just to come here.
This is very much like a scene in Jurassic Park, I've seen.
Absolutely.
I'm shaking, I'm so scared I'm going to hurt the thing.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's okay.
It got me, look, it properly bit me. Sorry, mate. Welcome to the world. It's cool out here.
I told you.
Fresh out of the shell, they are cute, but they do bite, and I can tell you that firsthand.
Giovanna and her team are doing everything they can to save these once endangered animals.
This is a happy time for us.
This is gorgeous. Giovanna and Charlie are essentially conservationists, and they are doing whatever it takes to ensure that crocodiles survive and that they stay a part of this ecosystem. Goodness, look at that! Boom! I've seen it firsthand. Crocodiles are still here in this part of Australia because of businesses like this.
With such an insatiable appetite for croc skin, it's driven a fashion boom for all things exotic.
Jay, how you doing, man? You alright?
I'm meeting with an old friend of mine, Jay, who owns a huge sneaker accessory brand, and has borrowed a pair of trainers that you certainly couldn't get on the high street.
So these are the Nike Air Jordan 1s, dubbed the Brooklyn Zoos.
Yeah.
The trainers are not made by Nike, but have been specially customized for the luxury market.
Literally on the inside, you've got pair 7 of 10.
Right.
There literally are only 10 pairs of these.
Seriously, it's no joke.
How much are these selling for?
At the moment, you can get them from anywhere between 10 and 20 grand. There's 9 different skins.
9 different animals?
9 different animals on this shoe.
But what is it about animal skin specifically that people love so much?
It's the luxury element of it. It's the exclusiveness of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't have these, or you better be prepared to part with some serious money to be able to get these. It's that bragging right, you know?
What is it that made the shoes so famous?
When Jay-Z wore them at the Nets game. If you got a pair of these, you're in a very special club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And is that club the epitome of luxury then?
Yeah, I would say so. You have got stingray, you got lizard on the tongue, you've got elephant on the side.
Well, hang on, that elephant skin is something you don't hear.
Well, this is it. I've never seen it before the shoe either. You've got boa on there, you've got crocodile, you have ostrich on the side here, python.
Much of the world's python skin comes from Indonesia. Indonesia makes up 2% of the Earth's land, but its rich jungles provide the fashion industry with over 14% of its exotic skins. Many of them come from the island of Java.
Yeah? Yes, Reggie, nice to meet you, man. Thank you for having me. Should we make a move?
Diane is a local wildlife photographer who's going to take me to a python hunter.
We're going to Ciperna, where the snake hunter lives. It's about 40 minutes from here.
Look at the state of his face, look. That's the face of someone who isn't looking forward to meeting pythons.
Okay, so everyone's out. Hello?
Our snake catcher is called Ahmad.
Oh, this guy, hello.
He provides for his family by catching pythons in the wild and selling them.
Are you the only person in your family that catches snakes? This is Dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been bitten? Oh, what did he say? A cobra. Wow.
Dia pulang ke rumah, diikat, disobek pakai silet, dan sembuh, aku pulang.
With that in mind, it's time to go hunting. And we're not the only hunters on the way to Snake Central.
So, is this what they're actually going to put the snakes in?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to get that around the snake? Ah, sneaky.
And we're off.
It doesn't look like the bus driver's waiting around. We've got to literally scarper to get on. Well, this is a bit tight, isn't it? And there's a whole bunch of snake catchers everywhere.
1 hour later, the hunt begins.
They're already looking in the bushes now.
The snake we're looking for is called a reticulated python. It can grow up to 8 meters long. It kills by squeezing things to death. It's immensely strong.
And the only bit of self-defense I've got is a torch.
So they're following the river bank. If they find a hole, it's a snake's house.
Okay. He's taking his shoes off. Surely that can't be the smartest idea. Should be telling you now. Watch your step. You just caught it with your bare hands. Look at that. You just caught it with your hands. Why are you laughing? This is insane. How long is this?
3 meteran ini ada 3 meteran. 3 meteran.
Wow.
Oh man, it's wrapping around me, look! It's got me! Oh my god! This is mad! Look at that!
Ini kembang tuh, kembang.
So is this a good one then?
Yes.
Ini bagus Pak ya.
Ya bagus ini.
How much do you think this is going to be worth?
Ini sekitar 300-an.
$25. Whoa!
Ayo masuk. Ayo masuk. Yuk.
And it's not just snakes they're hunting.
Dimakan.
And how many of those would you catch in a night?
4 kilo, 5 kilo dapat.
Wow, you guys are just you're catching everything here.
If these guys are doing this every night, I'm surprised there's anything left.
They might have found another snake. Yeah, there we go.
Wah.
What sort of snake is this? Is it another python?
Ini sampai kembang sama yang tadi.
Wow, it's absolutely gorgeous. So this is the skin that they were all paying the money for, right? Beautiful.
Oh enggak, iya, tinggal ditarik.
Tarik pakai tangan.
Pakai ini.
Oh, we will.
Now let's just get it in the barrel. Get it in the barrel.
Nanti dulu. Ini dulu.
Head first. Oh God, I forget there's another one in there already.
Ayo, masuk. Ayo, masuk. Masuk ke rumah.
You know, when you look at the skin, and you look at the colour of it, and you look at how beautiful it is, and how individual each section of this is, you can understand why people want it. You can understand why people are catching them, and why these designer labels are putting them all over their bags.
Masuk ke rumah.
But it's a living creature. This is a creature that was minding its own business 10 minutes ago, and now suddenly the beginning of its journey to becoming somebody's purse begins right here.
And it's just a tiny part of $1 billion trade. The next morning, we arranged to meet Ahmed. The locals call this place Snake Village. He's brought in last night's catch.
I know that face. Hello. How you doing? All of you fit on this one little bike. It's unbelievable. And what's in there?
Python.
So how many of these pythons are actually still alive?
3.
You got 3 in there.
All of the animals taken from the nearby jungle are brought here.
Oh man, looks like the work's all happening in here. It's like frogs, I didn't even realise. There's tons of them getting stripped, cut into pieces, and what looks like being cleaned for cooking, I guess. It's a lot of frogs. Is that snakeskins?
Yes.
It is. So many. Oh my goodness, look at this.
The owner of this factory is Jamari.
Hey. Hello, Reggie, nice to meet you. Wow, what are these? Are these python skins?
Yeah, python.
And how long ago were these brought to you?
Prosesnya, sudah berapa lama di sini? Oh, di sini udah 3 jam. Udah operate.
And how many days has this been out in the sun?
5 jam.
It's just 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right. It's really strange seeing the skins at this stage of the process, because right now they just feel a million miles away from the animals that we caught last night. This just feels like bits of paper. And look at that, he's just folding up a huge python. Look, that's like 3 or 4 pythons in an elastic band.
Ahmed will get paid per metre for his 3 pythons, so Jamari needs to measure up.
I've never seen anything like this before in my life. I mean, he's literally just grabbing the snake by its neck so he can stretch it out to measure it.
3 meters, precisely.
Any mark on the skin decreases how much the big brands will pay.
He's got a live python in his hand. He's not even thinking about it. This, I guess, is really normal for him. Whoa. What colour on this?
It's dark.
Whoa. This one's a tricky one. Did he just nearly bite you?
Yeah, yes. 3.5 meters.
It's big.
Berapa harganya gimana, Pak?
Ahmed will get around $80 for last night's catch. This gets shared with the other hunters. But once skins are turned into even the smallest luxury items, their value can increase massively.
Take care. Bimaxi, take care.
For Ahmed, it's the end of his involvement. But there are thousands of hunters like him all over Indonesia.
Looks like there's another seller here now.
Oh yeah.
Look how many he's got. Wow.
The amount of animals that are being brought in is staggering.
And there's more. No way. So we've got 2 pythons and then lots of smaller snakes. In any other circumstance, I'd help you carry them in.
Anak pastinya, iya, 5 menit satu gigitan pasti orangnya mati.
And why is he so confident that the cobra is not going to bite him, even though he's smacking it?
Lo bisa dicium, Mas.
Moving on from the sideshow, I ask if they've noticed a drop in numbers in the jungle.
Hari keluar sih sudah biasa segitu, cuman ularnya yang kurang. Kalau dulu kan banyak ularnya, kan banyak anaknya.
Is there actually a cap for the amount of snakes that can come through his business per month or per year?
Kan ada surat-suratnya, izin dari kehutanannya tuh harus ada.
And once you've got a license, you can take as many animals as you want.
Smaller snakes and other reptiles aren't skinned for their skin, but for their meat, which demands high prices once it reaches China.
Oh my goodness. It's another thing to add to my I've never seen before list. There's buckets full of snake meat and what looks like smashed up frog meat all in one big bucket, and then there are vats of snakes being cooked.
Now the time has come to slaughter last night's snakes.
I don't really want to walk through the door, because on the other side of the door is a bit of the process that I'm yet to see, and it's happening now. So, do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. Everybody behind the camera right now is going, go in, go in. But everything inside me is saying, stay right here. Come on in. Come on. Oh my God. Alright, so the snake is fighting for its life literally right now while the killer just grabs it, holds it still, and gives it a poke up the nose, and that's it. It's like there's this weird popping noise when it finally gets all the way in, and the minute you hear it, it just stops fighting. That, to me, really isn't humane at all. Oh. It's awful. So he's just pulled this hose out. I thought he was washing the snake down, but he's just put the hose in the snake's mouth. So the snake that's just been killed is now being filled with water. Why is that? Look, it's still moving. Why is that?
It's not alive, but the nerve system is still working.
Look how much it's moving.
The snake's slow metabolism means that nerves may react long past slaughter. It's hard to say 100% that the snake doesn't feel any pain.
Seeing a snake be killed by a long piece of metal through its nose, if it doesn't put you off, there's something wrong with it.
The pythons are now left full of water for a couple of hours and then skinned.
This has to be one of the most shocking things I think I've ever seen.
It's time to leave Snake Village. It's been an eye-opening few hours. The way the snakes are killed is brutal, but I was also struck by how many were being taken from the wild. And there must be hundreds of other villages just like this all over the country.
Whoa. Oh my God.
There is now a fierce argument between wildlife experts over whether there are enough wild pythons to sustain the huge amount being caught, killed, skinned, and exported. To find out for myself, I've come to the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, to meet wildlife expert Kintan in the city's pet markets.
Look at the size of this place. It just goes and goes, doesn't it?
Yep. The Jatinegara market is one of the biggest and also one of the most notorious markets in Jakarta.
There's primates down there, there's monkeys.
Yes, they know it's not supposed to be for sale.
The police actually ever get involved?
Unfortunately, that's not something that they regularly do.
In your opinion then, where would you say the majority of these animals are being taken from?
So 95% of the animals being traded are caught from the wild.
Kintan is particularly concerned over how Indonesia's python population is currently being threatened.
Indonesia has a quota of 175,000 for hunted pythons. It's regulated under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES, but we don't have the mechanism to kind of trace that regulation and enforce it.
So they have a quota, but there are concerns over how adequate the policing really is.
In certain places, you cannot find these anymore in the wild. They used to be there in abundance.
No way.
Yeah.
So that many have been taken, you literally can't find them anymore. So they're essentially extinct in that area.
The problem is the illegal trade is so rampant, there's probably as much illegal pythons being caught as there are legal or under the quota.
Yeah, there's just this massive grey area and there's no way of knowing for sure where these animals are coming from.
And therefore it's really hard to claim complete sustainability on a product made from snake skin. It's a very bleak picture for Indonesian wildlife.
Yeah, it's really sad. Really sad. It really feels as though there are no rules here. You know, this is the Wild West of animal sale, because these animals predominantly aren't coming from farms. You know, they're being caught in the wild and sold on for a profit, not a great profit at that. Education needs to be put in place because it's not a bottomless pit. You know, these animals won't be here forever if there isn't regulation. If we don't know how many animals are being taken and regulate that, things are only going to go downhill.
Back in the UK, I've had some time to think about what I've seen. Once upon a time, fur and exotic skins were just for the rich, but it seems now everyone's at it.
You walk down a high street here in London and every window has something that resembles or is a cheap knockoff version of a snakeskin, a python skin, or a bit of fur.
We spend billions on faux fur and other fake animal items. But some of these cheap copies are actually made out of low-grade real fur and real skins. So the message is really simple.
I'm not judging you, but do the research. And I am saying that to myself as well, because from this point forward, I'm not going to do that anymore.
And what about those with a bit more money to spend on the real thing?
I think we should all be asking ourselves, this fur and these skins that we buy, are they sustainable? Because if they're not, and you're still spending your money on it, it's irresponsible.
From the billionaire wardrobe to millionaire boats, as we take a look at the makers and buyers in Britain's